What's happening, everyone? My name is James Lynch, and this is the Fanatics View Hockey Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, post them in the chat. I'll get to every single one of them. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel and get your question read on air. We got a lot to get into. We have a new Stanley Cup champion, like it says in the title. The Florida Panthers defeating the Edmonton Oilers last night, 5-1, back-to-back Stanley Cup championships for the Florida Panthers. Dominant victory. They were up big in this one. Edmonton did score at the very end, but this was all Florida in game 6. Really big win there for the Panthers, like I mentioned, as they captured their second Stanley Cup. So we'll get into all that. Solo show today. Troy, who we know normally get on here usually every now and then. Troy, I know, is busy. I'm sure we'll recap things the next time I see him. But yeah, let's get into everything that happened last night in the finals. There was also the Calder Cup last night, the AHL. I want to talk a little bit about that. I got the Abbotsford Canucks jersey there in the background, or the tank top, I should say, the right logo though anyways. And yeah, lots to get into. So first, I wanted to start first a little bit differently here. We got some really good, I just mentioned the result there, but we got some really good stuff, post-game stuff here as well. So wanted to quickly point that out. You guys are awesome. Got to give a quick shout out to our audience here. If you look on the Fanatics View channel right now, look at this, 18,000 views last night on the Paul Maurice post-game scrum. Right here. Well, not scrum, press conference, I should say. Really good stuff. Shout out to my guy, Taylor. This is one of the reasons that Fanatics View is different from everything else you're going to see out there. Not only do we get all the teams out there, we don't just, stick to one team and get availability for that. We get availability from pretty much everyone here. And my guy, Taylor, he's up late at night. He's getting all this stuff up for you guys. So this is your home for especially pregame, post-game content on Fanatics View. Thank you so much, guys, for all the support. 18,000 views is awesome. And again, I think we were the first to get up the Paul Maurice scrum than anyone else. So really good stuff there. Press conference, not scrum. Keep saying scrum here. But yeah, really big win there for the Panthers as they get it done. You can see all this stuff from McDavid. Chris Knobloch. I was going to say Chuck Knobloch. Chuck Knobloch's the former baseball player. Yeah, so lots of stuff. And we'll be having stuff throughout the offseason as well, guys. So that's one of the things. Teams do availabilities throughout the summer. We're going to have free agency coming up here, in about a week or two. July 1st will be free agencies open. So again, there's going to be stuff all throughout the summer. We're going to continue the show in the summer as well. I got a number of guests lined up for the summer. We're going to be talking some off-season stuff. We'll be talking about, whatever's going on in the news these days. I think this will be a busy off-season, right? Because a lot of teams, there's only like one or two teams that are selling, right? Pittsburgh. I think every other team is going to be trying to add. So curious to see what type of trades we see, especially with some of these RFAs available as well. Let's get to the game last night, though, quickly. I can't show you highlights, guys, unfortunately. But let's look on the Panthers side of things. 4 goals for Sam Reinhart. It's just crazy to think that Buffalo gave up on this guy with that trade a couple years back. He has been absolutely clutch. I can't think of a team in recent memory that's had so many players step up in a final situation like this with Sam Reinhart. Like this guy, Carter Verhaeghe, of course, 3 assists. This is what you want. It's a balanced lineup. Edmonton has the 2 best players in this series, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, but it's that team effort there by the Panthers. I think them getting Marchand at the deadline was clutch. Matthew Tkachuk getting a goal last night too. Everyone's contributing here. Look at the shots on net here. The thing that was so impressive about this game yesterday was the fact that Florida dominated Edmonton. I know the shots won't, tell the full tale here. If anything, I think Edmonton actually outshot. Edmonton did outshoot Florida, but it just, in terms of quality shots, chances, all that, it was all Panthers. Panthers were really all over them here in this one. And full effort here. A couple guys getting their first cups. I know Seth Jones, obviously, all those miserable years in Chicago, he now gets a Stanley Cup. That's great to see. I know they mentioned today on the radio about Nate Schmidt getting his first cup. I'm pretty sure he won one with Washington. I have to go back and look at that. I know he was a finalist with Vegas too. But yeah, lots of good stuff there. And on the Oilers side, just costly mistakes. McDavid talked about it after the game. Those mistakes, you can't make any mistakes against Florida. And they made several, and that's what ended up costing them. But Vasily Podkolzin getting the lone goal for Edmonton. Canucks are going to regret that trade because Podkolzin's been great for them. But we're now hearing sort of the list of injuries that are coming out from this. A lot of guys playing banged up. Let's get to that in a sec. But first, let's get to our guy, Billy. What's up, Billy? Do you think Edmonton makes some changes and comes back stronger? We'll see. A lot of stuff on the table right now for Edmonton. I believe McDavid, it's his last season. He's got to sign a new contract. What's their cap situation going to look like? In fact, let's take a quick peek at that right now. Because they got to re-sign Evan Bouchard, and he's going to get a significant raise. one of the best offensive defensemen in the league right now. And so Edmonton right now, $11 million in cap space. But again, a lot of that's going to go to Evan Bouchard, and we'll see what else they're able to figure out here. But if we look at the lineup for Edmonton right now, Draisaitl's locked up. McDavid's locked up. He's going to get a raise too. He might end up being the highest paid player in the league here. How high does it go? Does he go over 14? We'll see. Still got Zach Hyman for a couple of seasons at a really good 5.5. That's another thing we got to mention too. Oilers have Zach Hyman. This could be a bit of a different series. It could. I'm not saying Edmonton would win, but you miss a guy like him that can not only score, brings that physical element, can step up. He was certainly missed in this one. Evander Kane, actually, now that I think about it, Evander Kane will be off the books. That's $5 million there. I don't know if he's going to be back. 33 years old, was injured most of the season. Do they bring him back? Maybe, but I don't know about that number. I'm not entirely sure. Do teams want to take a chance on Evander Kane, right? There's been issues on almost every team he's been on. I know some of that was addiction, right? The gambling stuff, but you got to wonder if there's teams that maybe don't want him there because of, past issues. We'll see. But saying that, it's a very weak free agent class. I could see teams making a push for him. Still got Nugent Hopkins there as well. Arvidsson's a free agent as well. So again, you got about 9. So they do have 11 million in cap space, but then you're going to get, like I said, 5 off from Evander Kane. Another one too, Arvidsson, Henrique. Like Edmonton's got a lot of choices to make. Corey Perry, I think, is probably done. I don't think Jeff Skinner will be back. Connor Brown, Kasperi Kapanen, Trent Frederick. So look at all these UFAs here. It could be an interesting year. Sorry, they have Kane for another year. Sorry, I keep thinking it's this year, but it's Kane's still under contract. So the UFAs that they have here that will be off the books are guys like Perry, Skinner, Connor Brown. That's not to say they won't maybe try and trade an Evander Kane or trade maybe an Arvidsson or Henrique or one of these guys, although Henrique at 35, I don't know how much you're going to get into that. But again, Evan Bouchard is coming in. Why don't they have him listed here? What's going on? My blind. Oh yeah, Evan Bouchard's an RFA. I don't know what he was getting in his last contract. Are we able to go back here? Anyways, so he's going to get a nice raise here too. So a lot of decisions here for Edmonton going forward. See what they do, and then the goaltending, right? They do have Skinner and Pickard under contract for one more season. You got to imagine they're going in a different direction with the goaltending, right? You would have to see, but we'll find out. And they're still paying Jack Campbell for a number of years. I can't believe that. Yeah, they're still paying that on the books. Do you think McDavid will be a lifer with Edmonton? So here's the thing with McDavid. I mean, he can do what he wants, right? Like he really can. He's got all the leverage here. He's one of the best players in the league. Like, I think he's got a good situation in Edmonton. They've been close. They've been to the finals twice. Does he want that? He's originally from Ontario. I haven't really heard any rumblings he wants to leave and go play for Toronto. You never know. His buddy Leon Draisaitl's locked up. The president of the Oilers is Jeff Jackson, who used to be his former agent. I think part of that was strategic in keeping McDavid there. So we'll see. I don't know if there's any guarantees. I didn't get a chance to ask Avery about this a couple weeks ago, but maybe that's something we'll tackle when I get him on the show next. But I haven't heard anything differently from McDavid as far as like what his next move is. But yeah, I will say this, like it's very debilitating for a team to make the finals twice and come up short. They showed the stat last night. I think it was St. Louis, Boston, and these were teams like in the 70s that had a similar fortune of, misfortune, I should say, of going to the finals and losing twice. So you have to think that it might take a lot out of the team. I remember in 2011 when the Canucks went to that final and they lost, and the year after, they kept getting worse and worse and worse, and the steam was kind of taken out. And just when you have a final that's so close, I think what makes this year tougher for Edmonton than last year they were a game away, right? And it was more competitive. The crazy thing was, and this was something we talked about, I think going into the final, Florida was better this year. That's crazy to think with some of the names they lost, and then they bring in like a Seth Jones and Marchand, and they're better. That's how crazy that is. So I just wonder mentally with this team, how do you get back to the top again? Obviously if you got McDavid and Draisaitl, I mean, you're always going to be a good team, but how much does that take out of you mentally being in the finals twice and coming up short? Because what do you do to fix it? I think Florida showed with their makeup and their team that you need, you don't necessarily need superstars, but you need playoff performers. And that's something sometimes you can't even measure that, right? You don't know who's going to step up and play well. And the Oilers had guys that stepped up. Nugent Hopkins was good. He was a little quiet in the finals, but again, you have a Zach Hyman next season. Maybe things are different. I don't know. But a lot of decisions there for the Oilers going forward. How about Corey Perry coming up short in 5 times the Stanley Cup final? Yeah, that's true. I don't think anyone will ever have that stat again. That's because that was what he was: Dallas, Montreal, Tampa Bay, Edmonton, and then there's another team in there, I think. But oh no, Edmonton twice. Yeah, that would make sense. Crazy, 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 crazy. So let's look on the Florida side of things here quickly as far as the offseason, what they could be looking at. $19 million in cap space, a lot of decisions. The big one, of course, what is going on with Sam Bennett? Sorry, not Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart. I get the Sams mixed up all the time. Excuse me for that. But yeah, sorry, the other way around. Yeah, it is Bennett. It is Bennett who's the free agent. I was getting that mixed up. Reinhart's signed. Reinhart's good. It's Sam Bennett who's the free agent. So we'll see where he ends up going. All the signs right now, there's Bennett right there, as I'm reading too quickly, as I usually do on the show. Sam Bennett, 28 years old. He was very good in these playoffs. Let's go look at the stats for Sam Bennett. He's going to get a lot, and he's a proven playoff performer. That's another thing that's very interesting with him. 22 points in the playoffs, guys. That's going to get you a good contract. Now, what we're hearing from all over the league right now is that he's either staying with Florida or maybe he entertains going to the Leafs. Maybe. He's from Ontario. Could see it happening. I don't know. I really don't know what Bennett's going to do, but it depends what he wants. I mean, you got to think with some of these guys, if you've already won a cup, like maybe go cash in and get that big contract, right? Like, what's his career earnings so far? He's done quite well for himself. Yeah, he was only at 4.2. Like, he could get something crazy. You never know. Because again, this is a weak free agent class. So, and then here's the other thing that's throwing a wrinkle into all this. And we found this out this week, and we'll see if it ends up coming true, but something we have to talk about. Mitch Marner, the rumor right now is he might take his time to sign. He does that. What are teams going to do? Do you jump on whoever you can in case you can't get Marner? Do you overpay someone? Like, what do you do? Because Marner's sort of the big domino here. I think once Marner goes, then you determine what your plan B is if you were a guy in on Marner. If you're Carolina and you're not getting Mitch Marner, do you go and look at a Sam Bennett? Like, I don't know. Like, what is it that you decide to do? So it's going to be, this is one of the most intriguing off seasons I can remember, just because every team's looking to add. Very few teams are looking to sell. Yes, the cap's gone up, so I think teams will be willing to spend a bit more. There's also a lot of RFAs in play. It's going to be very interesting here. So yeah, if I'm a betting man, I could see Bennett coming back. Yeah. Marchand's another interesting one here. 37 years old. Remember, money in term was a bit of an issue in Boston. That's why they ended up trading him, which is still crazy to me. I can't believe that they traded. Can't believe the Bruins traded Brad Marchand. He ends up winning a cup. If you're a Bruins fan, I mean, I'm sure if you're a Bruins fan, you got to be happy for Marchand, but you're probably also looking like, how did we end up in a rebuild like this? So Marchand might get some interest. If you're the Leafs, do you throw some money at Marchand? I don't know. What does Marchand want to do? He's won 2 cups now. So a lot of decisions here. Again, I'd say, other than Marchand and Bennett, I think Florida's going to be fine. You got Seth Jones locked up. Also, Ekblad's a UFA. He's 29. He's a right shot defenseman. Those are very high-priced commodities there. I think their defense, I mean, they do need to add some players, but I think their defense is going to be okay. So we'll see. And then the goaltending, again, they need a backup goaltender. And Bobrovsky's, I kind of forgot that too. Florida's got to look to the future with their goaltending. Bobrovsky's only got one more season. He's 36. Does he stay in a shorter term deal and just finish his career in Florida? I don't know. We'll see. Oilers defensemen were atrocious last night. You know what? A couple times last night, and I'm not saying this to be a hater, but Evan Bouchard, there's a couple times he missed like a couple good plays there. Ekholm was not good either. Let's go look at the injuries. I think we're waiting to see the Stanley Cup final injuries. Let's see. So TSN has got a report here. This is the Florida side of things. I wonder what Edmonton's got as well, but let's see. Let's see here on TSN what we got. Some top Florida Panthers players gutted through some significant injuries to help them win. Matthew Tkachuk dealing with a sports hernia and torn adductor muscle from the same side. He was a mess. That's the medical term. He was a mess. Barkov's point production was affected by the hand being cut open. Sam Reinhart returned from a grade 2 MCL sprain. What else do we have? It's just incredible. This is why no one should talk shit on hockey players, man. Name me a tougher group of athletes that can gut it out. I wonder if the Athletic or someone has like a full injury report. Yeah, I'm trying to think if we've got. Let's see if we got Edmonton Oilers injuries. Let's see here. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm not seeing anything yet. Sure, we'll get some more info there, but yeah, I would imagine some of their guys are banged up. I don't know to the extent, but that's part of it. I mean, oftentimes if guys don't show up, it probably is injury related. It's not necessarily because of poor performance, but you can't, like I said, you can't make any mistakes against the Florida Panthers. You just can't do it, and they got burned last night. So keep the questions coming, everyone. Do you think Marshawn stays with Florida, or he didn't sound sure? I think he wants a bit of a raise, I think, or at least like something a little bit more to what he's worth. So I don't know. I don't know what he wants. Does he want? I mean, his best chance of winning another cup is staying with Florida. So it's up to him. I really don't know. That's what you have to ask yourself. It's like Mitch Marner, same thing. Like, do you want to win? If you want to win, Mitch Marner, you probably want to go to a winner. Is that Carolina? Is that Vegas? I think Marner's going to go to Vegas personally. I don't know why. I just have this feeling. Get it to the East, go to the West, go try a completely different lifestyle. Go to Vegas where there's no media pressure. Seems like they're having a good time over there. Team's well built. I could see Marner fitting in with Vegas very well. I think that's the move for that. And then as far as Marshawn, I'll say no. He doesn't stay in Florida. He's won 2 cups. Maybe he wants to go to another team, make some money, and help the team out. When's the last time there was a repeat champ in the NHL? Was it Tampa Bay? I think Tampa Bay was the last one. So Stanley. Everything just blends together at my age. So list of Stanley Cup champions. There we go. Here we go. Okay. Wikipedia is our friend here. So let's see. Oh, whoops. Here we go. Okay. Panthers. Yeah, it was the Lightning. 2020, 2021. One of those was the COVID season, right? So that was a little bit different. But yeah, look at it the last couple of years, 2018. By the way, I want to know if Nate Schmidt was on that 2018 team. That's going to bother me. Washington Capitals, Hockey DB. Yeah, their roster for 2018, 2019. They won in what? Yes, it would have been 2018. Was he on that team? Nate Schmidt. Oh, maybe he wasn't. Thought he was for some reason. No, he just missed it. That's crazy. So 2016, 2017 was the last season he played. So this Nate Schmidt just missed out on Washington winning a cup. That's interesting. Yeah, so the answer is the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then prior to that would have been the Penguins back in 2016, 2017. So yeah, we're seeing, and again, like Florida's got a pretty good locked up team there, right? So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Keep the questions coming, everyone. What's on your mind? Stanley Cup Finals or not? Free agency, whatever. Let's do another look at the free agent tracker like we usually do here on the show. Puckpedia. Although the only thing I don't like about this is they don't show like the top players. I think they just go in order. But the Blues build up our solid team and get back to that contender level. We'll see. We'll see. They got some good pieces. I don't know. I love the Blues, Billy. I thought it was cool to see the run they went on. I kind of wonder if that was a bit of a flash in the pan, and maybe they're not going to be able to sustain what they've done. Okay, good. Puckpedia. Shout out to Puckpedia, by the way, as far as the free agents go. Here's our list of the top free agents. So you got Mitch Marner, Matt Duchene. I think Duchene's going to stay with Dallas. I was trying to get Travis Taylor on the show this week. I think we'll get him on soon. He's our Dallas Stars guy. I think Duchene's going to be back, although you never know. Dallas has got to switch things up a bit. Granlund, does he come back? We'll see. Ehlers could get paid really well. Ryan Donato there for the Blackhawks. Patrick Kane, although Kane's a lot older. Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett, Claude Giroux, I imagine will be back with Ottawa. Oh, I don't like this table at all. Look how short this is. Let's look at some of the other names. Brock Besser, Jamie Benn, Pierce Suter, Dandanov, who's 36, Riley Smith, Jack Rosselvic. I think he'll get picked up by someone. Jonathan Drouin's a free agent. Kuzmenko, who had that good run at the end there. Aaron Ekblad, Christian Dvorak. So yeah, I mean, again, these aren't like jump off your page names, so to speak, right? So a lot of decisions here for the NHL teams. Restricted free agents. Patera, that's one that's been in the rumblings a lot here. Let's look at the free agents, restricted free agents. Oh, something went wrong. What went wrong? Reset dashboard. Okay, well we can just view it from here, or maybe we can't. My browser tripping out. What's going on here? Okay, let's try that again. Okay, let's bring the board back up here. Oh, what's going on here? Something's up with my browser. Oh, there we go. We're back. So Patera, Evan Bouchard, like I said. I mean, you know what? If I'm another team and I got some cap space, why not throw an offer sheet at Evan Bouchard? He'd be one of your top defensemen. Do it. Because the Oilers are going to have, like, they already have a lot of decisions to make. Marco Rossi, that's a guy that the Canucks are interested in. I think he's going to get moved. It's pretty evident Minnesota doesn't want to keep him. Nyes could get a big contract. Morgan Geekie. Mason McTavish is another name we've been hearing. Simon Holmstrom. Yeah, I still can't get the full list there. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting offseason, guys. Really curious to see what happens there. Let's get to your questions. Again, keep the questions coming, everyone. Most people dislike sports dynasties or dominance. They say it's boring. I've always been the opposite. Love to see teams do things better than others constantly. Shows their excellence in efficiency. Yeah, I think Florida's still going to be good next year. They might even do it again. You never know. We got to see what improvements certain teams can make, but Florida's got all the answers. And you know what the crazy thing is with Florida is that, like, they didn't even draft a ton of their players. A lot of it was free agency and trades, right? Like Reinhart trade, Bennett trade, Tkachuk trade. Even like a Gustav Forsling, Seth Jones. And then the thing that they do really well is they get like complimentary veteran players to help out on a cheaper contract. Nate Schmidt this year. Last year was Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So, and just, and then people say, oh, the state tax and all that stuff. I don't really think that's it. I think what Florida's done is created an environment for the players to want to play there. I hear that players get to go to practice in golf carts. It's nice weather. The media is not going to bother you. They have a nice practice facility. Bill Zito, I heard, the owner, who used to be an agent, by the way, or not the owner, the GM. I heard every dinner they had, he paid the tab. And I mean, these guys are paid well anyways. It doesn't really matter. But like just little things like that, like creating a culture of an environment where players want to play there. I think that's a big thing. Oilers really miss Hyman. Completely agree. Yeah, it was tough. Now, does that make the difference? No, but I think the series is probably closer if Hyman's in there because he would have stepped up in the finals. So that did hurt them. But I still think even without that, the Oilers need like another like kind of dynamic like step up player. Like you get rid of some of this cap stuff like they got with Kane and like a few of the other guys, and they could somehow acquire like a good player. Like if I'm the Oilers right now, this is it. Like you got a window right now. You got to go win. Like I don't even what are their picks even like right now? Like do they have first round picks? Let's have a look here. Just want to see what their actual pick situation's like. Yeah, they don't actually. So look at this. I didn't even realize this. So they don't have picks. They don't have a first round pick this year, second round pick this year. They got one pick and it's in the third round. They don't have their 2026 pick, and they don't have a fourth round pick either. They still have their 2026 second. That's going to be a strong draft. Oh, oops, you guys can't see what I'm seeing. Yeah, you won't be able to see you won't be able to like they only have a couple picks in 2026, and that draft's going to be really deep. That's going to be the Gavin McKenna draft. 2027, they still have those first round picks, but you know what? Bear the cupboards here and let's improve this team. If you're the Oilers, you have a short window, now or never. Because here's what happens: you go all in on the window, and then once the window's over, you rebuild. That's what every good team should be doing. A lot of teams don't do it though. Canucks haven't done it. And this is why Canucks fans are still frustrated and there's not a lot of success. Dallas didn't do it, but Dallas also drafted well. Dallas has a very good ability to draft in the later rounds. You look at a guy like, I think Wyatt Johnson was like a late pick. They seem to be able to get players that are, they draft well. That certainly helps. So that's something to keep in mind too. Won't happen, but man, I'd love someone like McDavid to join the Blues. Well, yeah, I mean, anyone would want McDavid. You get McDavid, your franchise completely changes. It's like how San Jose got Macklin Celebrini, like that immediately changes their franchise. Like he's a cornerstone piece that you can build around. Not only that, you're going to have players that want to play with him. These sorts of teams also force everyone else to get better, raise the level of everyone over time. I agree. A lot of things change. Like for example, when Vegas won the cup, everyone's like, okay, we got to get big bodies and play physical. And then now that Florida's won, it's like, okay, you got to be physical, but you also have to have guys that can score as well. Like you can't just have, like, look at like a Reinhardt or Bennett. Like these guys hit, they're physical, but they can also score. Like you need a bit of everything, right? Panthers proved that number one, you need to be strong down the middle. Exactly. Well said. Well said. I mean, honestly, like I'd put this Panthers team up against any cup final team, and I think they're good and could probably win most of the time. Like it's just such a deep roster. And considering they've done that in a cap era is pretty remarkable if you think about it. Go back to the 90s when you can basically just overpay for players and make your team really good. But, the Panthers, again, I think what it comes down to with the Panthers is they've created a winning environment. They've created something where players want to go there and play. Word of mouth. Matthew Tkachuk said it flat out when they beat the Leafs. They're like, thank God I don't have to worry about the media pressure in Florida like they do in Toronto. Because you know what? Who gave Florida the toughest test? It was Toronto. That could have been a cup final. Like if there was no conferences or whatever, like Toronto is a very good team, but they're also hindered by the fact that it's a lot of media pressure. Hockey's everything there. I do wonder, like if you're in Sunrise right now and you're looking at the newspaper, where are the Florida Panthers on the newspaper today? I mean, they should be front cover, but this was, if the Leafs won the cup, the city would shut down. Everyone would just take the day off and celebrate. It's a much bigger deal. Is this a dynasty? I think it is. 3 cup finals. The other thing we got to remember, they made the finals the year prior as well. They made the finals against Vegas and lost that first year. So 3 years you're in the finals in a row. That's a dynasty to me. I think they didn't win that year, but I still think that says something. And I think there's no reason why they can't get there next year, but other teams are going to get better. I do wonder about Carolina. Can they make adjustments and get over the hump? Carolina's big thing is this year especially, they didn't have that superstar. They had one last year in Jake Getzel, but it didn't really make a difference. I think if Carolina's can get some better goaltending and they can get like that superstar player, they could possibly challenge Florida. They've got obviously very talented, they got a rich of talents on that team. Toronto, I think, is right there too. Toronto's finally got some good goaltending. I think they're, losing Marner will hurt, but can they fill that money up with something else that might be more effective? I don't know, especially in the playoffs, because that's the thing with Marner, unfortunately, not much of a playoff performer. Who do you see being the next Western team to break through to the finals? If Vegas gets Marner, I could see them doing it. Now, I know I just contradicted myself because I said Marner doesn't show up in the playoffs. Is it possible Marner plays really well in a different market in the playoffs when there's not as much pressure? I'm here for that argument. I'm absolutely here for that argument. I think that could happen. I think if Marner goes to Vegas and he's like in the background a little, well, not in the background, he'd be one of their most dynamic players, but dude, imagine having Jack Eichel and Mitch Marner on the same team. Like that's unreal. So I'll say if Vegas gets Marner, it would be that. Outside of that, I don't know. I think it's up for grabs. I think Edmonton will be up there, obviously. We'll see if Edmonton addresses the goaltending a little bit, maybe get someone a little bit stronger there. Maybe Edmonton adds. But here's the problem, guys. Teams don't have a ton of cap space. Teams don't have, it's a really interesting time. Like there aren't, like the teams that have cap space are teams that aren't really in that like contenders mix. Like people talk about, oh, Utah's got lots of cap space. Well, Utah doesn't have a superstar. As much as you can be one of those teams that manages your cap well and has a lot of draft picks and all that, you still need a superstar. Look at the Sabres. They've been rebuilding forever. They haven't had any success. So, as great as like Utah and Anaheim are, you still need to have a superstar in that team. And, we'll see if they'll end up getting it here. So I really don't know in the West. Again, we'll get Jay on here soon. I'm curious to get his thoughts, but I think Vegas is a team that has the potential to do it. They just have to. I think Vegas needs a goaltender too. And I think they need to get like a Mitch Marner. What changes does your Canucks need to make a contender? They need it. I mean, so many things. Like, I'm watching the finals and I'm going, they're not close. Like this would be the best case scenario. Let's put it that way. This is best case scenario. And I don't even know if this is possible. Elias Pettersson comes back and plays to a 100-point level. That's number one. That determines everything. If Pettersson can come back and play well, Canucks have got a shot. Number 2, another big if. Can Thatcher Demko stay healthy? And if he can he get to that Vezina level that we saw a couple seasons ago? And do they even keep Thatcher Demko? Because he's a UFA too. That's another big question. I'm of the belief, and this is something I think I talked to Troy about last week, I think you keep Demko. Because, yes, he's injury prone. I think if you can get a deal with Demko that's reasonable on the cap, and there's a way for him to get traded at some point if they want to go their separate ways and it's not working out, I think you do it. Because here's the thing. Right now, the Canucks and even league-wide, I don't know if there's a goalie with as much potential as a Demko that can get to that level that you'd be willing to get in. Like Kevin Lankinen played for the Canucks last year. He played great. He's awesome. He'll never be Demko, though. You need a Demko if you want to go to the Cup final. You want to be a contender in the league. And to me, you make that bet, in my opinion. So they got 2 big bets for the Canucks. It's Pettersson and it's Demko. That out of the way even. There's still more work to do. They need to get a second-line center. What does that look like? I don't know. They've been poking around at Josh Norris, apparently from Buffalo. What do you give up to get him? Do they trade one of their top picks? I have no idea. I really don't know. So Canucks need Pettersson to bounce back, Demko to bounce back. They need a second-line center, and they probably need some more speed as well. They need to get guys that can skate, that can also be a bit physical. That's why JJ Piquera from Buffalo is someone I think would be a great fit for the Canucks. But what are you giving up to get them? You know, and it's not like the Canucks can just ditch draft picks, because what happens if Hughes leaves in a couple of years? That's why I think there's rumblings about the Canucks looking at Bowen Byram, because if Hughes leaves, he's kind of that replacement. And Bowen Byram will never be Quinn Hughes, I don't think, ever. But you got to plan ahead if Hughes leaves. You got to do something with this core, because here's the thing. Canucks have good defense. They're set there. There's people talking about trading Hronek or trading like Mancini or any of these other guys. I don't know if you do that. Use your strength. Use your defense. That's a good strength there. You maybe look at the farm, maybe look at some picks. That's where I would go to, or maybe trade like a Connor Garland, which I know you're sacrificing more offense to get more offense, but maybe you look at that. Maybe you trade a Niels Höglander. There's that there's the rumor out there about the Canucks stealing their 15th pick and Niels Höglander for Pavel Zacha. I'd be open to that. You got to see and then Cheadle. Cheadle's another X factor in this whole thing. If Cheadle's going to be healthy, what does that look like? Can he be your second line center? Probably not. Is he going to be healthy? That's the big question. You got injured last year. That's what we're talking about. No, the Canucks are not going to be the team to break through, Jay. No. The worst place to be in sports is stuck in the middle. That's true irrelevance. Yeah, it's the what's the term for it? Yeah, stuck in the middle is one of the terms, but the other term you could use is I forget the name, but it's like, yeah, it's like you're basically like good enough to get to a certain point, but can't get over the hump. Like the Islanders have been like that forever. And that's a team that could potentially be selling. We'll see. In fact, I think if you're the Islanders, why wouldn't you sell? You've been stuck in the middle for so long. Let's go look at the Islanders here real quick. They got a new GM, Matthew Jarsh, coming over from Tampa Bay. They got some good pieces, but I don't think they have the pieces to make any sort of run in the East, especially where it's very strong. They get $20 million in cap space in a free agency year, which is not that strong. So you got Barzal. That's a good trade piece there. Right shot center, 28 years old in the prime of his career, 9.1 decent cap hit there. You got Bo Horvat, same thing, decent contract at 8.5. It's funny, could the Canucks get Bo Horvat back? I'd look into it. Anders Lee got one more year at 34 years old. Pajot, they'd like to get rid of. He's only got 1 year left on his contract. Duclair, they signed for a bit of long-term there. Then they got some free agents. And then on the back end, not looking so great. Alexander Romanov's going to want to raise, not the Romanov who fights in the UFC, or used to fight in the UFC, I should say. Noah Dobson's an RFA. That's another trade chip they could use. Tony DeAngelo's a free agent. So, yeah, I mean, they got Sorokin locked up. So their goaltending's fine, but they got to make some decisions here about what they want to do. Like if I'm the Islanders, I might look to rebuild. This might be the time, because think about it. You're dealing with a free agent class that is really weak. You could sell high. You could sell and get a lot of good value with some of the picks they have, like a Bo Horvat or Barzal or any of these guys. Like you could get some really good returns here, right? I just think if you're stuck in the middle, like Jared was just saying, I think teams like that should make some big moves. Look at Vegas. Vegas is a great example of this, okay? I don't think Vegas has ever been stuck in the middle, but the thing I've always admired about Vegas is taking big risks. Marc-Andre Fleury, you're too much on our cap. We're going to send you to Minnesota. Your agent's going to hate us forever, but we're willing to do it because we want to get Alexander Pietrangelo. They get Pietrangelo, they end up winning a cup. Jack Eichel, they made a huge move there. We'll trade Dylan Cousins. We'll trade, what's the other guy? Tuck. We'll trade these guys. We'll make bold moves. I think if you're stuck in the middle, you should be making bold moves to try and just switch things around a little bit. Bobrovsky stunk when he first got to Florida. That he did. They got lucky with that. Let's be honest. It was not good. But you never know. You never know how things can kind of turn around. So will be interesting to see what moves teams can make. Wonder if we can get the yeah, here we go. This is something I was going to look at. Let's look at salary cap by team. Kind of give a good outlook. Here's how some of these teams are looking. So right now you've got like it's interesting to see how many teams have certain how they allocate their salaries. Look at this. Avalanche has 61 million tied up in their forwards, just 26 million on defense. Right? And isn't Makar's due for a raise here soon, I think he's eligible next season. Oh, and he's got 2 more seasons at 9. He's going to get a raise. In a couple, he's got 2 more seasons. Canadians. And then you look at, I want to know current space. That's what I want. So the Sharks have the most space here at 41.6. Actually, no, we should go to projected space here. So yeah, $41.76 million for the Sharks. Sharks are rebuilding. So they're just looking to add more pieces. Columbus, who we talked about, who Troy mentioned last week, that's a team that could certainly make some noise. Remember the whole, with the Johnny Gaudreau thing, unfortunately, they could go big game hunting. Anaheim's another one too. Chicago, you got to think they're going to add. Bedard had a bad season last year. Surround him with better players. I think would be a great move. Carolina's got some cap space too. Do you want to go to Carolina? Do you want to be part of that team? Calgary Flames could make some noise. Even we're hearing now there's rumblings that they might trade Nazem Kadri. They also have Rasmus Anderson, who would be a great addition to any team. Winnipeg's got some cap space, but a lot of players don't want to go to Winnipeg. It's cold. It's not a great market. Boston Bruins got a bit of cap space. They're rebuilding a little bit. Leafs got some cap space now without this Marner thing. They got to replace Marner. They don't want to take a step back. Sabres, Penguins. Then all the way down here, you got the Canucks at 12 million. It's like, Jesus, they've got 12 million to maybe get 1 or 2 players. They're going to have to make some trades for sure. This is where your franchise not in good shape. The Canucks have only $1 million more cap space than the Oilers. The Oilers went to the Cup final. The Canucks did not. They didn't even make the playoffs. So, yeah, it's not a good spot to be. Even Dallas, they only got a couple. Dallas is supposed to make a lot of moves, right? Because of the second year in a row, they've gotten ousted. They don't have much space. The Avs don't have any space. Canadians don't have much. What's the Canadians being tied up in? I thought the Canadians had more cap space than that. Is that Line A? That's probably because of Line A, right? I think. Yeah, so Line A's only got 1 more season. He kind of tailed off a little bit. They got their core kind of lined up here. But this is what I mean with Montreal too. Like, they don't have a superstar really. Like, Nick Suzuki's very good. Is he a superstar? He's close. I'd say he's close, but again, you need a couple more players here. Like, there's nothing wrong with rebuilding, but the rebuilding's got to work out too. So, very interesting there. So I don't know, any of these teams kind of jump out at you. Vegas has still got 9 million. Vegas is going to make some moves. So that's where I wonder where some of these players are going to go. I love free agency day. It's Canada Day here in Canada, July 1st, but I always just sit by the TV and watch all the transactions go. If you don't have a clear path to get better, it's time to rebuild or go all in on trades. I agree. Don't stay in the middle. Some teams do. Some teams want the ticket revenue or whatever for being a winning, like a somewhat a winning team and just being stuck in the middle. But I don't think that's good. I would rather, I'd rather take risks and it not work out than take risks that don't work out. Like, they don't take risks at all, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, guys, if you're not on Puckpedia, one of the best sites out there when it comes to everything that's going on. See if there's any more NHL news, guys. Might do a bit of a shorter show today. This is why I need a guest on. I try and carry this thing as much as I can, but there's only so much we can talk about. There we go. 6 hours ago, analyzing the top free agent defenseman. Let's go have a look at this. By the way, if you're not subscribed to The Athletic, you guys should be doing so. I always read their stuff. Very, very interesting. Aaron Ekblad. This is Dom Luszczyszyn's model. They project a $7.8 million contract projection. I wonder if they have teams that they could see him going to. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hefty contract for a 30-year-old, but we'll see what they decide to do. Other defensemen on the market here. Gavrikov, again, He'd be interesting again, 30 years old. Dante Fabro, I believe, re-signed with, my understanding is he's going to re-sign with Columbus. I saw a report on that yesterday. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. NHL rumors. Dante Fabro discussing long-term extension. Of course, he was taken off waivers by the Nashville Predators. Good pickup for them. That's what has kind of made Damon Severson a bit expendable for the Blue Jackets because Fabro's kind of outplayed him. What else do we have here for other defensemen? Dmitry Orlov, he won't be back with Carolina. That's my understanding. He's 34. He's going to get, a team might take a flyer on him. We'll see, but that's a tough one. Is he right shot? What side is he? He's right shot. It'll be a little bit more. Didn't have a good season though. Let me look this up actually. He is, I want to say what side? Left or right shot? Left. He's left. So even worse. Right shot defensemen are worth a little bit more. Provorov's another one. I don't know if he'll come back to Columbus. They'll have to make some decisions on him. He's 29, but again, left shot, not right shot. We got Brent Burns, who's 41. I haven't heard any talks of retirement. I think Burns would go to another contender if he doesn't go back to Carolina, maybe like a Colorado or someone, maybe Vegas. I don't know. See what he wants. If he's going to come back, Nate Schmidt, 34 as well, up there. See what he gets from another team. I'm sure he'll get picked up. He just won a cup. You got another 32-year-old here. Penguins want to go that way. So I mean, again, these options are not great. They're older defensemen. Ryan Lindgren might be one people take a stab at. Klingberg, who actually played quite well. His injuries are all healed for the Oilers. I would imagine he'll be back with the Oilers, if I had to guess. I don't know what the thinking is there. He totally played his cards wrong, though. Do you remember the whole story with him? He was with Dallas, and then no one picked him up, and then he went to Anaheim, had the one season, then came to Toronto. I think it was Anaheim. No, who did he was what was it? Klingberg went, I think he went Anaheim, and then Anaheim, Minnesota. That's right. He got traded to Minnesota, didn't end up getting signed, goes to the Leafs, played terrible, had a bad injury, missed most of the season, only played 14 games, and then came back and played for Edmonton later this season. Let's look at a few more. Yeah, again, these are kind of lower names, but guys that I do imagine will get some looks here. Cody Ceci does log a lot of minutes, but 4% positive value probability. So good article. I love stuff like this. This is me. This is me on a Saturday drinking some cold coffee or some cold brew coffee and just going through all this. I love this stuff. I've been like this since I was a kid. I used to have a subscription to the Hockey News. Anytime free agency would come up or anything, I would sit there and like read up on like who's a free agent or who could be like rumored to go to this team. I just love all that stuff. I remember in 12th grade, by the way, this was back before like smartphones were around. I remember going to the library during like saying I had to go to a bathroom break during class and going and find, like when it was NHL like trade deadline, I would go to the library and print off all the transactions. Then I would come back to class and read them all. This was before smartphones. The struggle was real. So there we go. Guys, let's get like two more questions here and then we'll hop off. I'm going to be away next week, guys. I'm actually going to be in Las Vegas covering the UFC card. So I will not be here next week, but week after we'll be back again. We're going to continue doing the show even in the off season. Lots of hockey to talk about. There'll be lots of fun stuff to get into, and we'll get some different guests on as well. Hyman injury was huge. Yep, it was. He'll be back. So again, the Oilers will be a little bit better in that perspective. Let's get one more question, guys. Then we'll hop out of here. A little bit of a shorter stream here today. What's on your mind, everyone? So. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe this is a good time to end things, guys. I appreciate it. Again, we'll get a guest on next week. This week I got a little busy. I've been actually, I coach U9 hockey, and our playoffs has been this week. We actually won our game last night, so we're going to the finals. So been a little bit busy with that. It's been a busy couple weeks, and then also, like I said, I'm going to be going on a work trip next week as well. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Even if you're new here, old here, doesn't matter. I appreciate the support. I love doing this. I love talking hockey, so I really appreciate you guys listening to me babble for the last hour. So just another reminder, I'll be off next week, but week after we'll be back. We'll be doing regular shows here in the Wednesday time slot. Really appreciate you guys tuning in here. Like I said, I'll be back. What's the date? So I'll be back July 2nd for another edition of the Fanatics View Hockey Show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your next 2 weeks. I'm sure a lot of stuff to talk about. That'll be after free agency. So in fact, you know what? Now that I think about it, guys, maybe we'll do a show on free agency day on July 1st. I'll see about doing that. How about we do that? And then we can react to some of the signings and trades together. How does that sound? Let's do it there. Okay, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys soon. And thanks so much for watching.